Okay, so we're just starting off by taking off the belt right here. I already got it loose, but basically some vehicles have a tensioner pulley that you would loosen with the ratchet. This one's simple. I just loosened up this 12mm bolt right here on the side, and then I loosened up this 12mm bolt right here, which basically dropped the alternator in order for me to pull the belt off. As for the compressor, it has one plug in the front, and then has our AC lines connecting into the back. Best way to get this out is to go from the bottom. I'm gonna take out 2 bolts on the bottom and then 1 on the top. Underneath, I'm gonna be removing 10mm bolts along the edges, and then removing these clips along there, so we can drop this splash guard and get in there to the compressor. I have it exposed. You see, we have a pressure release valve right here, and then we have our one bolt on the bottom and then 2 on the top. So I was backwards, and then we can see our AC lines right here. The reason we're replacing this is that this was electrometric was engaging, but I believe that the valves on the inside were not opening up to get the pressure through or get that freon through. Because when I had it hooked up on the gauges, our high side was at about 50 and our low side was at 56. So 1, we had low freon, and 2, that compressor was never kicking on to even out those pressures. Okay, so we have our old compressor, new compressor. It looks like the only thing we need to transfer over is this little bracket that holds in our wire underneath. That'll hold this wire in, and then the connecting wire up top. There's also, it looks like 2 brackets, 1 for the connecting wire and 1 for this wire, so it'll sit flush on the machine. Just go ahead and transfer those over. Okay, so we've got the new compressor in down there. As you can see, our plug is in and our hoses are tight and our serpentine belt is tight. And as you can see, there's 0 on that freon. There's no pressure in there. These are open. These are currently closed. They're closed now. All right. First thing we're gonna do is draw a vacuum. Turn our vacuum pump on. And we're gonna open up our low side, our high side. Okay, well, the pump I rented from AutoZone has a broken valve cap, so I have to hold my thumb there to hold that vacuum. But as you can see, we're sitting at 30 for that mercury vacuum hold. When I pull my thumb off of the vacuum pump, as you see, immediately loses vacuum. So we wanted to hold there. I'm gonna stop the video, let it run for about 30 minutes or so. That's gonna suck all that vacuum out, get all the moisture and the air that's in that. Now we've drawn vacuum. And as you can see, we're steadily holding at 30. If that trickles down a little bit, that's indication that there is a leak. But as you can see, there is no leaks, so we're ready to add freon. The AC fan on low. I've already opened up the freon can. I've purged it from right here to get any excess air out of there. I'm gonna open up the low side slowly. Slowly opening it up, letting all that freon in. And you see the high side starting to pick up. And you can see the low side going up too. All right, there's the compressor. Now we're just filling it up. We want to be about 35, 30 right here, and we want to be about 150 on the high side. Just let that go up. Nice and smooth. We'll run into the car real quick, check the air, see how it feels. It's a little warm, waiting for that freon to kick on. You see we're on low, the AC on. Starting to cool down a little bit. Alright, so we put the correct amount of freon in there. You see right here is where you would find that freon R134. We're sitting at 1.15 pounds. We're holding at a good 40 and 200, so I guess on this vehicle it is a little bit higher. Usually they sit anywhere from 30 to 40 to 150 to 200, so no issues there. Everything is good inside the vehicle. Air is cold and crisp. This car was running with a lot of hot air, so it is good to feel that coming through finally. But just gonna go ahead and make sure these are all closed off. We're gonna close off your high side, disconnect, close off our low side, disconnect. Time to clean up.